Hello everyone, so today we are going to be talking about an achievement on Grail Knight, which is honestly the probably the easier class to the easier DLC career to do the achievements of. Because honestly most of the achievements basically come from like not dying and just completing missions. The little bit of a harder mission might be this, but it's honestly pretty easy if you do it on legend with bots, and if you, because like currently there is a pretty recent free to keep weekend rather, Vermintide 2, which kind of messed up the whole quick play legend kind of. So what I do recommend is playing with bots for these three achievements, but honestly they're pretty easy as soon as you get some careers that can clear specials, so like get Waystalker, get a Bounty Hunter, and that kind of stuff, and that should be good. Is the only real issue there is going to be specials, and maybe some waves of elites or like patrols or something. As long as you don't die doing this, these three achievements are actually pretty easy. Um, then you have interrupting Death Rattler's charge. It's a little bit difficult, but all you have to do is play the last map, which is the last campaign map, which is the Skittergate. Have the boss start charging. So what you can do for that is stagger it once from afar if you can. So like with a bomb. And I do think that there's pretty high chance. It doesn't happen every single time, but there's fairly high chances that he starts charging whenever he doesn't have the boss on his back. I forgot the name of. So as soon as he doesn't have the guy on his head commanding him, you can just stagger him once from afar with a bomb, preferably with a bunch of bots because they won't do too much damage. And hopefully he should be charging through the whole map, the whole arena. And if not, then just spam the map a few times, and it should happen eventually. And while he's charging, use the blessed blade, and it should do the trick. And the achievement that we are talking about today, is going to be Bastion of Valor, which is using the Bretonian sword, to riposte a monster or lord. It doesn't say, but it works on a lord 3 times and kill it without getting hit as a Grail Knight. So for this one, you are going to be killing Budvar Rip Spreader, because this guy is actually pretty chill. This guy is pretty cool, and you can do that on any difficulty. I would recommend though doing it on champion at least, because of the fact that I believe you don't really have Chaos Warriors on lower difficulties. I'm not sure about that, but he does spawn Chaos Warriors, and if you are playing on champion, they have a little bit more health, and if you have gear on your bots, they won't one shot everything. Unlike playing on recruit, because a lot of people recommend playing this on recruit. I don't agree with that, because you have to get hit 3 times without taking damage, because you have to be basically parrying. You're not parrying. You're actually just using. You're just using a Bretonian longsword hold heavy, and that alone is a parry. It's a blocking stance. This means if you get hit while doing this, you get knocked away basically by Budvar. Even if it's a if it's a knockback, if it's the axe, anything works as long as you are holding that button. And so that's all you have to do is have block him 3 times, and then after that, all you have to do is just hit him a whole bunch of time, and he'll die. And you have to have the landing final hit, which means preferably you don't necessarily have to keep a potion, but you need the blessed blades, especially if you can have Virtue of Audacity, because you'll have a second single target hit like that, which will do a whole bunch of single target damage. That should be enough to finish off Budvar Ripspreader as soon as he reaches critical health. The only thing that you have to worry about during this achievement is once you have done enough parrying, you have to, 1, not get hit by the end, and 2, whenever actually trying to finish him off, you have to be careful that he is not during an animation, because if he is trying to do damage while you're trying to finish him off, you're gonna fail the achievement because you'll get a hit last second. So all you have to do is wait for like him to be stuck during an animation, wait for the animation to end and come in melee, and during the little brief time that he catches his breath after his animation, you can just use the blessed blade and finish him off, and that should give you the achievement. It is not difficult. All it takes is maybe sometimes like once or twice running the mission, because sometimes it does die to something else. Sometimes you may get hit by a random enemy nearby, like a random minion that he summons. It is possible. But to be fair, as long as you're rocking a pretty solid team with your bot, so like a Necromancer again is pretty useful. A Bard for the taunt as well is pretty cool. That should be enough. And if you want to, you can use a Shade, but it's a little bit risky, so I would advise you to run a Handmaiden or maybe Westalker instead. Not Sister of Thorns, because she has dots, and if Budvar reaches critically low health, the dot alone might actually kill him. So you definitely want a Wastehawker, and preferably not Hagbane, because Hagbane also has that available to her. But definitely be running like maybe Longbow, Wastehawker, or like a Handmaiden with preferably not the Moonbow or like the Hagbane as well. Just have her run the Javelin like everyone else, like every single player in the game does. That should be enough to do the achievement. But let me check briefly if I'm missing an achievement, but that should be the only difficult achievement as Grail Knight that you have to do. This is pretty easy to do on Recruit, definitely. Then you have this, which is a little bit difficult, but you should be doing it as well pretty easily eventually, because it just happens on its own with like pretty nasty higher difficulties, especially if you run deeds. 140 seconds to do 2 duties, which is like, I don't know, maybe like for one, run the talent that gives you 3, and 2, or maybe like the killing mobs granting you a potion on the floor. That could actually do it as well, but like just one of the 2 talents, not the one that increases the outcome of each duty, each Grail Knight quest. And by doing this, this both of these are actually pretty difficult, but especially this one. This should be done pretty easily if you have like a wave or like a patrol. Maybe have like a patrol. Maybe do Into the Nests. Maybe or like do Twitch mode. That should be pretty easy as well. But honestly, I think the safest one is probably killing a whole bunch of enemies on your talents, granting you a strength potion. That might do. I haven't done it this way. I have done it with the empowered duties, and it's honestly not so bad. It's honestly pretty easy to do, especially if you join in late during a mission. You will not get the quests that ask you to, like, for example, kill a monster or get a grimoire or a tome. This means that you can probably have like elites plus specials plus killing mobs, and this should be very easy to do within seconds of each other. If you have tome and grimoire, there's a few maps that you can do in split. So like for example, you can go for what's it called? You can go on the oh my god, what's it called? The Into the Nest again, which has the first tome and first grimoire pretty close to each other. Maybe maybe just do 2 players and like one player splits, gets the tome, and the other stays behind to get rather the other way around. One player goes forward, gets the grim, and the other one stays behind with the bot or something. There's plenty of ways to do that achievement. It's honestly just going to happen on its own as long as you play Grail Knight a whole bunch, because it's there's no real way to do that instantly. Even on maps where you get a whole bunch of different mobs. What you can do though, again, I've said it, but you can do it this way. Have Twitch mode enabled. Just log in your Twitch, start live stream. Even if it's terrible, just don't launch. Just start the live stream. Use your streaming key. Instantly turn it off as soon as you have the Twitch login. And you are still on Twitch mode after you turn off your stream. But for that, you have to log into your Twitch into the game. You have the Twitch window for that, as you can see. All I do is I click on start streaming. Once I am live, I just type my Twitch username. I click connect. I turn off my stream. I do not quit the game. I just stay on, and I launch any map that I want to, and I will be on Twitch mode. And during doing this, you may have waves of specials during like a patrol. You may have a patrol during a little wave of 2 specials. You may have a monster during a mixed wave or something, and that should be fine. That should be happening on its own. That's one of the painful achievements. But honestly, those achievements as Scrubber are actually pretty easy. You will do them definitely on your own without paying too much attention to it. The only, again, quote, difficult one is the riposte one, which is the one that we talked about today. There you go. See you next time. Bye.